God, where does it end with Joe Gibbs Racing? The team has gotten rid of Kyle Busch in such a petty way, has now done something even more extraordinary and bizarre, which is hard to believe for every NASCAR fan out there. The man who won 2 championships for them in 2015 and 2019 being treated this way by no means is a good sight for the team in general. But now, the bittersweet divorce between Busch and JGR has taken yet another twisted turn, and fans are not happy about it. Kyle Busch has spent 15 years with JGR, a team that he has been considering his home in NASCAR. However, the owner of the team, Joe Gibbs, has a grandson who, although full of talent, is a reckless and notorious driver, and after winning the Xfinity Series, a seat for Ty Gibbs was on the way. There are only so many drivers in one team in NASCAR, so the team had to let someone go in order to bring Ty after his championship-winning season in the Xfinity Series. The axe has fallen on Kyle Busch's head, but it appears that the team has a personal vendetta against him, based on the latest moves made towards the 2-time world champion. The brutal divorce of Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing is undoubtedly one of the stories that shaped the 2022 Cup Series season, and just when everyone thought that the saga was nearing its end, the team manages to pull something off and amaze everyone in the NASCAR world. However, the amazes they are pulling off in their own are in the negative spotlight, which is now the last thing the team needs after Ty is supposed to debut in 2023 and Hamlin is rumored to depart the team at the end of the 2023 season. So what is the big story? How did Kyle Busch respond, and how did this already have brutal consequences on Kyle's 2023 season? There's hundreds of things to cover, but we promise we'll do our best in under 8 minutes, so stick around. Busch has signed a new contract with Richard Childress Racing, wanting to prove that he still has some of his championship charm left in him. He has already proven that he can adapt to anything given to him, as was the case back in 2008 when he joined JGR from Hendrick Motorsports and had to adapt from the Chevy to the Toyota car. But now, Busch is unlikely to retain the sponsors who have supported him for the past 15 years in JGR, as the team intends to keep them for the upcoming season. One of the main reasons why Busch left the team, or the reason that was presented to the public by Joe Gibbs Racing, is the fact that the Mars and Wrigley sponsorship wasn't renewed by the company. Fans of the Candyman are clearly outraged by this outcome, and some have begun to question NASCAR journalist Bob Pockrass. Now that it's evident Mars Incorporated won't continue their collaboration with Kyle Busch, the fan asked, "Hey Bob, I was really hoping Rowdy would be able to bring some sponsorship with him from Gibbs. I know that's not the norm, but this isn't a normal split either. I mean, if you're Interstate Battery, I would much rather have my ties with Kyle than Ty Gibbs." To this, Bob replied, "No idea if it is the case here, but teams are getting better about protecting sponsors with clauses that they can't follow a driver for a year. That might not prevent it from happening, but it can cost driver sponsor time, headache, and money to make it happen. Buyout, lawyers, etc." Rowdy Nation is unlikely to see things this way, but teams are now obviously more aware of sponsorships and the impact that they have on the sport. It goes without saying that a huge portion of the NASCAR team's money comes from sponsors, around 70 to 80%. Although Busch was the one who practically made a lot of money for Mars Incorporated, if it hadn't been for the team, Busch wouldn't have been able to win those championships. At the very least, this is the narrative that JGR and every other team will follow in the upcoming months, which is why fans and drivers are disappointed with the outcome of this situation. What is next for Kyle Busch? With him losing his main sponsor, the one that has been on his back for 15 years, obviously we won't see the Candyman as we know him anymore. And one of his biggest struggles in entering RCR was finding a sponsor, but with the new developments regarding his case on the way, Busch can finally take a breath and chill for a bit. Busch has been able to secure a couple of sponsorship deals in the last few weeks, and most recently, the sponsors of the driver that he's replaced at RCR, Tyler Reddick, have come on board. This could be a bit of a hit for Busch as well, because not only has he degraded from JGR, a potential championship-winning team, to RCR, one that doesn't have nearly the same technology and potential as JGR, he won't have Mars Incorporated on his back. True, he will have sponsors behind him, and he will drive in NASCAR in 2023, which is the ultimate goal, but the mission of proving to the world that he is still worth it has now become even harder for the 2-time Cup Series winner. Now, in RCR, the primary sponsor for the number 8 Toyota will be Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, with the famous restaurant chain adding in a statement, "We've loved partnering with RCR and the number 8 race team since our debut into the sport 3 years ago, and we're just getting started. We're excited to welcome Kyle Busch and Rowdy Nation to the Cheddar's family, and we look forward to celebrating many wins to come." Busch expressed his satisfaction as well, saying that he is very excited to see where this partnership will go. Obviously, it's a big change in his career and something that he hasn't deserved from JGR, but in this sport, business comes first and then everything else. Apart from Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, some sponsors that supported Reddick will remain with the team as well, such as 3Chi, Alxo, Lenovo, and BetMGM. Bob Pockrass also stated that he does not believe these sponsors will leave the team with Reddick, adding to the narrative that there has been some shift in how teams treat their sponsors and the other way around. Obviously, the fans are not happy with the new look on Busch's back. They have expressed their dissatisfaction in a couple of Twitter rants, with some of them adding that Twitter missed the perfect opportunity of adding the $8 blue mark check to the number 8 Toyota car on the grid. The car that Busch will hit the 2023 season off in RCR has been designed by him with the help of the team, and although it marks a new era in the team and in Busch's career, fans are not happy about it and do not approve of Busch's new charter. They went to the extent of adding that Busch should keep the driving since the number design is absolute dog. So, with that being said, what can we expect out of Busch and RCR? As we mentioned earlier, his already hard mission has turned out to be even harder with the new design of his car and the old new sponsors for RCR. But rest assured, Busch will be more than motivated to continue his quest for a third championship in NASCAR, one that is not related to JGR, proving to them that they made a huge mistake by sacking him out of the team. While many thought that age was definitely a factor in why JGR did what they did, this is far from the truth. Kyle Busch is 37 years old, and although you think he's well past his prime, he won a championship 3 years ago when he was 34. It's not like his last championship season was 10 years ago, so he would have forgotten how to battle under pressure. The only thing that we have yet to see is whether RCR has the necessary equipment to provide Busch with so that he can demonstrate to the world that he can still perform on a top-tier team. JGR, on the other hand, has a lot to prove to the rest of the world for how they treated Busch. It doesn't help that Hamlin has already been linked to departing the team after the 2023 season ends, with FedEx likely to leave the team as well. But given what JGR did with Busch, there's a good chance that they will keep FedEx as their sponsor and leave Hamlin on the sidelines. The co-owner of 23XI Racing is likely to focus on the managing role more than the racing, but nevertheless, he spent 18 years with JGR, and it's hard to understand why the team would let him go now that he can serve as a perfect role model to Ty Gibbs. Nevertheless, we cannot wait to see how the future unfolds for JGR and Kyle Busch, as both sides keep providing juicy and controversial information regarding the sponsorship and the divorce. What is certain is that NASCAR is currently experiencing huge changes regarding the sponsorship, and what could be a desperate cry for more money to the teams after the business model is unlikely to change beyond 2024, and Busch is one of the first victims of these changes. Hamlin could be next on the list, with Wallace almost losing out on the sponsorship of McDonald's. What do you think is next for Kyle Busch and RCR? Will he succeed? And does he have a shot at the championship next year? The expectations are high, given the fact that he is a two-time Cup Series champion and he does have a lot to prove to the NASCAR world. But now the challenge presented to him is not as nearly as easy as he had it in JGR. Let us know your honest opinion in the comments below. A huge thank you to all our loyal subscribers here at NASCAR Culture. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. The next video will be huge and you surely don't want to miss it. Until next time, racers.